The Lakers are cruising toward 6 to 7 wins and the number 1 seed. The Warriors are, well, they're the Warriors in 2000, which means they're not good. But here's what makes this game different, and here's why I always show people this particular performance when they ask me how dominant Prime Shaq really was.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another After Dark. Hope you all are having a good night so far. Hope you guys had a wonderful day. All right, so I have, over the last couple of months, become a huge fan of the Old School Basketball channel, and this one popped up on my feed. And let me see. Yeah, this is just from a couple of weeks ago. This one is titled "Shaquille O'Neal would eat today's NBA centers for lunch." And if it sounds like a funny title, I'm sure it's going to be a funny video because this channel is hilarious. And I was also I never noticed until now 427,000 subscribers. Like, this has become a massive channel. So obviously I'm not the only one who likes it. Anyways, Shaquille O'Neal would eat today's centers for lunch. Absolutely. If any coach would actually let him play the way Shaq plays and not try to turn him into a perimeter player, you know, like if we had one smart coach that had him and said, "Do your thing, Shaq," Shaq would destroy the entire league. Shaq would change the way offenses and defenses run in the modern game, and it would disrupt it in the perfect way. They'd have to allow defense back into the game because, dude, who's stopping Shaq in the paint without hacking the hell out of him? So they have to let some fouls go again, and it would be the best thing for the NBA ever if Prime Shaq were to just enter the league for a couple of years. Anyways, that's my spiel. My problem always is whenever I've talked about like put Shaq in a modern league, I think most coaches are just gonna like treat him like a regular center nowadays and be like, all right, you sit back and shoot threes. Like, it would be a complete waste of his talent. So anyways, you guys, as I always do, I'm linking the original video from Old School B-Ball down in the description box, like I always do. And you'll see a list of channel members. Super shout out to my channel members. I appreciate you all. Guys, let's get into this. So you can help out the video by liking the video and hitting that hype button. Let's have a good time here.
Here's the thing about explaining Prime Shaquille O'Neal to someone who never saw him play.
Yeah, it's hard.
You can show them the highlight reels. You can quote the career stats. You can break down the championships. But wait, there's always that moment when they ask, but was he really that unstoppable?
Yeah.
My braces, they can't. See, these two, man. Come on, man. Every time you go down, I'm telling you, man. Some of you women overconfident. Stop it.
And here's...
The only way to stop Prime Shaq was to put him on the free throw line. That's the only way to do it. That's the only way to stop the guy. Outside of that, no, there was zero stopping Shaquille O'Neal.
Where it gets interesting, because most of us remember Shaq as this larger-than-life personality, the guy cracking jokes on Inside the NBA, doing commercials, making movies. We remember the fun-loving giant who seemed to treat basketball like his personal playground.
Change.
But what we sometimes forget...
Okay, that was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. And yeah, I saw it in the theater because I was like a teenager, man. I don't know what I was thinking.
And what I want to show you today is that for about 6 years, Shaquille O'Neal played basketball like he was operating under different physical laws than everyone else. April 5th, 2000, Golden State Warriors hosting the Los Angeles Lakers. On paper, this should be a routine road game late in the season. The Lakers are cruising toward 6 to 7 wins and the number 1 seed. The Warriors are, well, they're the Warriors in 2000, which means they're not good. But here's what makes this game different, and here's why I always show people this particular performance when they ask me how dominant Prime Shaq really was. By the way, this is during Phil Jackson's first season with the Lakers. The triangle offense is clicking. Kobe's emerging as a superstar, and they're building toward what would become the first 3 straight championships. But even in that context, even on a team loaded with talent, what Shaq did that night was essentially him saying, "Let me remind everyone that basketball is still a big man's game." Now, I've been studying this area of basketball for years, and I've got a theory about Prime Shaq that I want to talk you through. See, most people think dominance in basketball is about skill, about finesse, about outsmarting your opponent. But Shaq represented something completely different.
Yeah.
He was dominant through pure inevitability. And this Warriors game...
I mean, it's hard because, like, dominant takes different forms. So, like, you can say Jordan dominated the 90s because, yeah, he won 6 out of the 10 championships in that run. Domination, right? He dominated the league. Shaq, it's pure physical domination. Like, just, he was the immovable object, and he took full advantage of it. And he did it at a time when there were a ton of talented big men who played the big man game. Not something that big men know how to do nowadays. They don't know what this is all about. So nowadays, he would destroy everybody. I mean, he destroyed them anyways back then.
This is where that inevitability becomes a physics experiment. Here's what we are going to discover together. This wasn't just a great individual performance. This was a 48-minute demonstration of what happens when an unstoppable force meets, well, anything really. Because of Prime Shaq's case, there were no immovable objects. So let's set the scene in Oakland. The Lakers need this win to keep building momentum toward the playoffs. And right from tip-off, you can see something is different about Shaq tonight. First quarter, he is aggressive but patient, working in the post, establishing position, getting good looks. Nothing spectacular yet, just efficient basketball.
Normal Shaq.
Here's what the Warriors are trying. Traditional drop coverage, hoping to keep him away from the rim. The problem is, and this is where the physics lesson begins, when you are 7'1", 325, and you can move like Shaq could move, traditional defensive concepts start breaking down. By halftime, he's got 16 points on 8 of 12 shooting. Solid, but not otherworldly. The Warriors are hanging around, trailing by just a few. Daniel Marshall is playing well for Golden State. He'll finish with 32. This is going to be a game. But wait, here's where the story really begins. The beautiful thing about this Lakers team is how everyone knew their role when Shaq got going. Kobe was still learning to be Robin to Shaq's Batman, but he understood when the big fella gets hot, you feed him and get out of the way.
But did you think they could be this good this quickly?
No, I don't think anybody in their reasonable or right mind would say that you'd expect to win 60, 64, 60, whatever games that are going to happen for us.
Phil Jackson's triangle offense was perfect for this because it created natural feeding opportunities. The ball would move, and inevitably find its way to Shaq in perfect position. Ron Harper, Derek Fisher, Rick Fox, these guys weren't stars, but they were basketball geniuses. They could read when Shaq was about to take over a game, and more importantly, they could get him the ball when he wanted.
Yeah, they were perfect for the system.
Now, the Warriors weren't just going to roll over. They tried everything you're supposed to try against a dominant setter. Double teams, Shaq would either power through or find the open man. Hacky Shaq, he was 11 for 16 from the line this game.
Hey, not bad,
Good
Shaq.
enough. Smaller,
Good enough for sure.
Quicker defenders.
Try driving the lane on him, or worse yet, survive attempting to make a charge against his 7'1" Mack truck frame. Yeah, I gotta say, I don't want to say it like that. I don't want to take a charge from Shaq. I've seen what Dennis Rodman went through dealing with those hits.
That just means easier shots. Here's the thing that people do not always remember about Prime Shaq. He wasn't just a big. He was skilled big. His footwork was incredible. His hands were soft, and his basketball IQ was through the roof. Third quarter starts and you can feel
To be real, Shaq is a better passer than most people give him credit for.
something is shifting. The Lakers are up, but not too much. Golden State is playing the inspired basketball at home. The crowd is into it. This could go either way. And then Shaq does something that, even knowing it's coming, still gives me chills every time I watch it. He starts the quarter by establishing position deeper in the post than before, not just along the baseline. He's setting up shop in that sweet spot about 6 feet from the rim, where he basically unguardable. More on that positioning later, because it's crucial to understanding what makes this performance so special.
For sure. That's a huge part of his game. And honestly, it was one of those, I didn't like watching him when he was a Laker because he was just beating everyone with just sheer force. But he spends a lot of his energy trying to get a deep position in the lane so he can catch and just make it one move. You know, if he catches it right under the basket, he's throwing it down. But more times than not, 4 or 5 feet away, and you know, you got a nice turnaround baby hook off the glass.
Warriors know what is coming. You can see it in their body language. They are trying to front him, trying to deny the entry passes. But here's the beautiful part about Prime Shaq. Fourth quarter. This is where legends are made, right? This is where great players separate themselves from good players. And what Shaq...
And this is one thing for anybody who didn't get to watch this. Watch the defenders, okay? So we're going to see the catch.
Shaq.
Now watch. We got a double team here. Watch how much space Shaq is going to create just by turning around with the ball up high. Why is this going to happen? Because nobody wants to take a hit. You get hit by Shaq, like his shoulder hits you, you're out. So if his elbow is going to make contact with you in any way, you're donezo, man. And watch how they react, because they've probably been hit before.
Fourth quarter.
Look at this. They don't want any
of it. This is where legends are made, right? This is where great players separate.
That's fear, by the way. So through his physical dominance, he created massive fear for anybody who had to guard him. In fact, there's a ton of stories of some of the greats who they admit whenever Shaq came into town, man, I would get 2 fouls real quick, and there you go. The backup center's got to go in and do his thing now, because you just don't want to do it, man.
Themselves from
Dennis Rodman didn't want to guard him either, but he did it. You know, it was the best thing for the team. But he never wanted to guard Shaq either. Like, those kind of hits, they last.
Players. And what Shaq does in these final 12 minutes, it is basically a clinic on the defense, on the difference between dominance and destruction. In the final quarter alone, Shaq scores 16 points, but it is not just the points. It is how inevitable every single possession feels. The Warriors know exactly what is coming, and they cannot stop it. Watch this sequence, about 6 minutes left. Entry pass, Shaq catches, one dribble, dunk, and by the way he does it, there's no wasted motion, no hesitation. It is like watching a machine operate. But here's what really gets me about this performance, and here's why I consider it the perfect encapsulation of Prime
What a
Shaq.
pass.
By this point in the game, everyone in the building knows what is happening. The Warriors players know it, the coaches know it, the fans know it, even his own teammates know it. Shaq is going to score pretty much every time he touches the ball in the post, and nobody can do anything about it. That is not basketball as we usually think about. That is something else entirely. That is what happens when physics meets basketball and physics wins. Final numbers: 49 points on 19 of 27 shooting. That is 70.4% from the field, 13 rebounds, and most importantly, 33 of those points came in the second half. But here's what those numbers don't tell you. And here's the real insight I want you to take from this game. This wasn't Shaq having a lucky shooting night. This wasn't him catching fire from outside or getting favorable officiating. This was simply the most physically dominant player in basketball history, operating at peak efficiency.
And see, this is like the best you can do to defend him. Hold up.
Fire from outside or
Okay. Watch how the defender is going to push him out of the paint as far as possible. Shaq normally can't hit a shot outside here. That this is not his range. His range is right. His range is here. You know, it's literally that's his range. So this is great defense, but he still manages to hit this. But
getting favorable officiating.
Get out.
This was simply the most physically dominant player in basketball history, operating at peak efficiency. Every field goal he made was either a dunk, a layup, or a short hook shot. No threes, no mid-range jumpers, just pure, unstoppable interior scoring. And that, more than any other statistic, tells you everything you need to know about Prime Shaq. He didn't need to expand his range or develop new moves. He just needed to get his spots, and from there, basketball became a foregone conclusion. Here's what this game teaches us about basketball, and here's what it teaches us about dominance in sports generally. When people ask me how to evaluate centers in today's NBA, I always come back to this game because this is what true interior dominance looks like. Not just size, not just strength, but the combination of physical gifts and basketball intelligence that makes you essentially unguardable.
I mean, and let's be real, modern centers in the NBA are basically power forwards that shoot threes. Like, we don't see any like massive man of a center like we used to. No real tough guys out there. And being a center used to be a tough guy's game, but now it's a lot of just like finesse centers. A lot of dribbling, a lot of three-point shooting. I hope someone comes around to change it, but that's the name of the game right now.
This Lakers team would go on to win a championship that year with Shaq as Finals MVP, but more importantly, this game happened during a 19-game winning streak that essentially locked up the #1 seed and home court advantage throughout the playoffs. Individual brilliance, creating team success, that is the hallmark of truly great players. But beyond basketball, this game represents something we rarely see in any field. Someone operating so far beyond the competition that rules seem different for them. Jordan had it with his mid-range game. Tiger had it with his iron play. Shaq had it in the post. And when you achieve that level of mastery, when you reach that point where your excellence becomes inevitable, that is when you transcend your sport and become something larger. So here's my question for you. In today's NBA, with all the three-point shooting and pace as space offenses, could Prime Shaq still dominate like this? I think he could. I think he'd be even more dominant, actually, because teams are smaller now, more spread out. There'd be even more space for him to operate. But here's what I really want you to think about. This Warriors game represents the last era when one player could impose his will on a basketball game through pure physical dominance.
Yeah.
We may never see anything quite like Prime Shaq again. And honestly, that might be the most remarkable thing about this performance. Not just it happened, but that we were lucky enough to witness it. April 5th, 2000.
I agree. I'm always sad I didn't get to see Wilt dominate in the way he did, but to be fair, Wilt was a very different player than Shaq. I am glad I got to see Shaq. I got to see him. I got to see him all the way from when he was at LSU in college. So very, very happy I got to see it. We'll never see another dude like Shaq. Just like we'll never see another Wilt. We will never see another Shaq. No way.
Lakers 111, Warriors 104, Shaquille O'Neal 49 points, 13 rebounds, and a reminder that sometimes basketball is beautifully simple. Get position, catch ball, score.
Yep.
Physics optional.
Yep. No need for 20 dribbles. No need for any of that garbage. Just one dribble at the most, turn around, score. 2 points. 2 points. 2 points. It's the name of the game. All my favorite players did basically the same kind of thing. You know, we don't see Hakeem Olajuwon dribbling the ball over and over and over again and, you know, chilling by the perimeter. 1-2 dribble at the most, make your move, got him. MJ, same thing. Kobe, same thing. Mr. Bird, same thing. Like all of my favorites, They all had the same thing. Honestly, Tracy McGrady, same thing. You know. Yeah, man. Anyways, you guys heard my opinion, so no need for a long outro here. You know what I think. I think the only thing that can stand in Shaq's way in the modern game would be the wrong coach. So if he had the wrong coach, the coach wouldn't understand how to utilize him. But because the thing is if you do have Shaq right now, 2025, on my team, I have to throw away the current strategy. We have to build a new strategy around Shaq. So we can do a 4 out. You know, 4 out on the perimeter if you want to stick with the modern game. But Shaq is not going to be it won't be a 5 out. Shaq is planting his ass in the paint. 1, to get the rebounds. You know, for all the 3-point missed shots we're going to get, we're going to need offensive boards. 2, hey man, if you're going to single cover Shaq down there, it's over. It's over for everybody. So then if we're doing a 4 out at that point, how are you gonna keep track of the? Actually, I'm realizing he'd be even more effective right now. 4 out, 1 in. Shaq gets the ball. You can't double team him now because with a 4 out widespread across the perimeter, how are you going to double team him? You have to actually leave somebody wide open for a wide open 3. Okay, and at that point, that defender is chasing down that 3-ball shot. So that it's just Shaq in a 1-on-1 down in the paint for that offensive rebound and putback. I would put my money on Shaq in that situation. So either Shaq is going to score too easy on a 1-on-1 down low in the paint, or he's going to create a wide open 3-point shot if you dare double team him. I really think he'd be more effective than ever. All he needs is a creative enough coach. And see, all it took me was like, you know, a couple of seconds there or whatever. That's an easy strategy. I'm sure a professional NBA coach can think of even better strategies than that. So yes, I 100% think Shaq would be incredibly effective in this era. In fact, he would change the entire game because he already did that anyways. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to head out. I want to hear your opinions. Put Prime Shaq right now. 2025 season. What are you thinking? What do you think happens? And if you got any cool strategies, like coaching-wise, what you would do with Shaq, let me know as well. All right, you guys, I am heading out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys got some good laughs out of this. I love this channel. And yeah, like the vid, hype the vid, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Hit that subscribe plus if you want to support the channel. Shout out to my members. And most importantly, be safe out there, okay? For real. Be safe out there. It's crazy times, you all know. And I can't think of a better way to say it. Just be safe, okay? Be safe. All right. Be water, my friends.